Hey guys, Jordan here, and I'm with my student Nadege in the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator, who's been doing absolutely awesome. And I just wanted to grab her together today, and we're going to learn from what she's been doing in the course so we can help you guys get more results too. Yeah, so first off, Nadege, I know you've known about funnels and all of that stuff before, even before joining the course. So before we jump into the other questions,
Yeah,
tell me about your situation trying to figure out online marketing funnels before joining the course.
yeah,
What were your struggles and obstacles getting it to work?
yeah. So before I start with you, I was only strictly advertising with bridal shows.
Hmm.
And because this is where I was good at, I knew about it, I was good in sales, good with people. But here's the thing, bridal show are kind of very expensive to run because the cost per acquisition per client can run anywhere between $150 to $300 per client you sign, which is kind of high, even higher sometimes, some very high-end bridal shows. And I always heard that Facebook and Instagram was the thing, but also heard that a lot of photographers were struggling with it, that they were failing. So, but I was keep on hearing that from the one who are successful if it's about the marketing funnel.
Hmm.
And when I was digging through it, it's like, okay, it's not just a magic tool. Like you got to really get into it and understand its functionality from, A to Z. And I think this is where the struggle is. It's like people always tell you about, capturing, nurturing, acquire, and retain. And okay, you hear these similar words everywhere. And like, okay, what does that mean? How you do that? How does it work in detail? And people tends to be very general into your own business, and every business. And I'm like, no, you cannot advertise the same way
Hmm.
if you are a hairdresser, if you are a wedding photographer, or if you are doing mechanics. You cannot advertise the same way. Sure, everybody want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, but what's specific to us photographers, especially women photographer, nobody wanted. I could not figure out what what was missing, how to do it right, because I didn't want to spend money and fail because if you spend money and get no result, it's even worse than doing nothing.
Yeah.
To me, you're losing money doing nothing. So this is how I see it. So it's like it took me a while until I stumbled into you, where people were saying, "Oh, it's specific to wedding photographer, any step by step with everything." And of course, you're here to help. It's like most people, they give you classes, but it's cricket when you have questions. Like cricket is nobody want to help you, so it's like okay, not good. But
Yeah.
you changed the game.
And I guess before even joining the course, did you try doing ads? Did you spend money on ads before and not get results
No,
from it?
no, because I knew better. I
I
guess
see.
because I knew better. I'm not gonna do it until I know really how it works. But I know a friend of mine, also a photographer, who have done it, and it came to me. It's like, oh, advertising Facebook hasn't worked, so don't bother.
Mm,
It's what they tell you, but what they also do tell you is like they didn't do it right.
yeah.
You cannot advertise on Facebook and Instagram if you do not understand how and do it the right way. Because if you scrap the step, you're gonna waste your money. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So now that you're in the course, after implementing the tactics from the program, what were the missing pieces that helped you get results? And also tell us about the results that you got as well.
So what I like about this course, it's basically the content. Because people will tell you the nurturing part of the link, and I think this is the most important part. It's not just put a pretty picture on the internet, say, hey, win a free engagement session, and click here. It's not just about that. It's really how to captivate your audience when you get their name. And I think this is where you are the game changer, because you explain how to phrase it, why, what's the psychology behind, and how you should say it versus the other one. They don't explain that. So that was the missing part. Is that nurturing part? How to look like you are blip blip in the business. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, you are the expert, you know what you're doing. And you're not selling anything at the end, but it's like you are offering so much help and make them so like, I like how you phrase your email with all this cliffhanger. Hey, by the way, next week, if you click here, I get that extra surprise. So keep on watching.
Exactly.
And I think it's like, oh my gosh, even me, I'm writing that. I want to write my next email because I even fell into my things. And so that was the missing part because I had content, but I never knew how to utilize it for my bride. So that was a game changer. So I had a little struggle with, okay, the hardest part is basically setting up the ad with Facebook. It's a
Yeah.
monster. It's very technical. It took time. It took me about 3 days to go through because they changed their
Yeah.
interface, and I was like, "Where are the thing? I'm lost." So, but what I like about it is like you are able to be there for me to help me out. So that was awesome. But in term when I figured out when we put it online, it's like so I run in for a week. I screwed up something, so that was on my bad. I doubled something up somewhere. Facebook, as I said, the first time you might do a little couple of mistakes, but it's
Yeah.
okay. So I overspending on something, but never mind. So $140 spending in a week, and I got 38 lead total, and I basically up to today have 4 of them in my book. So, which is over 5%.
Yeah.
People tell you if you
That's
sign
awesome.
you sign more than 5%, you are successful. And I think a lot of people mistake that. They think they get 100 lead and they got to sign all these 100 lead. No, you're going to lose some right away. And it's okay. You got to make peace with losing some because the one we're not reading, they don't care about you. You don't want to sign them. Period.
Exactly.
So I got 4 on book, which is great. And you think about it, it's $35 per acquisitions.
Yeah, that's an
So when you
amazing.
show.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you have this period of time in the year when you have no brow show, and for me it's basically August to January, like it's that dead month where there is no really good show to do, I can just run Facebook ad and keep on having my business, kind of fill up the blank, which is
Exactly.
great. I love it.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize, like first we generate those leads at scale. We're getting tons of leads at scale, and not everyone's going to be your ideal client. But if you do a great job with the nurturing and you really build that trust, with your brand
Yeah,
and everything, you're going to squeeze in those ideal clients who see your value. And then say if you spend $100 in marketing, but you get like 3 clients, that's an amazing client acquisition. Like
absolutely.
$100 and, what if every client's $3,000 or something like that, The client acquisition and the ROI is absolutely key. And so, you even brought in your funnel into a wedding fair and
Yes, I
everything.
did.
And so that's
So
kind of a important thing. It doesn't always have to start out with the ad. You can take them in from different avenues. So tell us about that experience bringing in leads from the wedding fair into your
So
funnel.
basically, so your entire system, and I did it with 70 ads, so which is a little bit different from you because you have a different system, but also people were like, oh, I have 70 ads, I have to change. I will tell them, do not change your system. It worked with 70 ads. You just got to figure out how to do your workflow on 70 ads, but it's the same
Exactly.
idea. And so, as you said, 3 months. So, tip, 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 call to action, tip, 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 call to action, tip, tip, tip. So, basically 4 email once a week, 1 email a week. And this is how I figure out. So, basically, the tip is basic content. So what we did, but also basically bring the same idea. When they come to my booth, I talk to them and I have a little signage to say, hey, win a free engagement session with us if you give us our name.
Yeah.
So people are willingly giving you the name, knowing they're going to participate in that. As you said, you give permission to basically advertise them. And basically what happened is like you get the first email, hey, this is how you're going to work. We hope you win. Blah, blah, please keep tuned. And if you do Facebook and Instagram, then tomorrow you're going to receive that. So I basically implement the thing you were saying. And what I love about it is like you can tell if they're reading the emails. And so far, I got 30 lead on the bridal show. People are like, it's
Awesome.
not a lot. Yeah, it's 4 hours. You don't talk to a lot of people on 4 hours. And I have so far only 2 people who dropped. Everybody been reading every email. It's been 2 weeks now. And
It's awesome.
the thing is also people, when you send them so much tip, like the first thing I did is basically send them the free engagement session, guys. So it's a two-step episode. Episode 1, it's all about wardrobe. Episode 2, it's all about locations.
Yeah.
So they like, oh, I want to know more. And then they're gonna compare you to another photographer
Hmm.
who only is gonna want to sell them something, and they're like, okay, this guy wants to sell me something, but it's not giving me any advice.
Hmm.
This one, she's helping me. And what happens,
Exactly.
like, you come out like you're the expert. So it comes down that something a very good mentor of me was telling me, Dej, it's not about pretty pictures, it's about you. And I
Yes.
was not understanding what he's trying to tell me. It's like, what value are you bringing on the table? This is
Exactly.
it. This is the secret. It's like, it's not about just being a good photographer. I mean, yes, it is, but it's what can you do to bring that photography experience better than someone else. And it's not about taking prettier pictures. It's about helping them with the timeline, understanding they need more time, understanding they need to think about it and get the wardrobe, think about the location. What can you help them have a better experience overall and ultimately help with the wedding planning? So that is the secret. And if you do that with bridal show, with everything, so every single client that I have, no matter if they come through my website, through Instagram, through the show, they go through the system.
Yeah.
And it works because ultimately when they sign, they keep on, so when they sign, they also get a second tier of advice.
Yeah.
They get ever more stuff, and they keep on coming and coming. So the system get implemented. So when they sign with me, they have not 3 months, but they got 9 months of advice, which is phenomenal. It's
That's
35
amazing.
calls. And I have people, this is where is absolutely amazing. Since I've been doing the system, I've brought clients to my living room, and I'm literally competing with big name studio now. Like, oh, you're thinking about, and I'm still this big expensive brand away from them because
Mhm.
I shine even more. So it's like, yay, Jordan, I love you. I love
That's
you.
amazing. And
So
so, and um, and so when it comes to the nurturing content that you had and everything like that, um, and that but for the students who are watching and everything right now, you know, if it's not about getting the client to book right when they see your ad.
yes,
We need to build trust in your brand. You're
yes.
literally building a brand
Don't jump
with
on them.
this.
Do not jump on them. And it's
Exactly.
basically the first thing you do is give them advice to start. And you were talking about, if you offer a free engagement session, help them understand how to get a better experience with engagement session.
Exactly.
For example, give them a free location list on your area, because sometimes they're like, well, I don't know where to take pictures, but give them idea with picture. Like you could do a nice, guideline about, hey, here are my perfect guide for all the perfect location in your area.
Hmm.
It's like you feel like more knowledgeable. It's like, hey, think wardrobe advice. I know you do opposing things, but the thing is, like a photographer, I think we want to talk about photography, like get
Yeah.
technical about light and everything. They have no idea what you're talking about, so
Exactly.
don't. They
Exactly.
don't. They
And
don't.
what has been the topics in your nurturing content that you have seen that brides have really loved?
So I have a complete. So I have a little trick on my email. I think it's like if they really read everything, there is an email say, hey, after I give them tip of that by digital files, I tell them, hey, by the way, it's at the very bottom, so they gotta really read everything. We also have a PDF. It's 35 pages. It's massive, and I wrote it a long time ago, but I
Yeah.
kind of went back over there. This complete wedding guide of you planning, basically planning wedding guide. And if you answer it and claim your free wedding guide, you get it. And they will literally answer me back and say, I want the free planning guide. Those are the one I'm going to mark as hot lead to work,
Exactly.
because I know they're reading, I know they focus, I know they want a good experience. And usually the one who answering that email are the one I usually hand out signing. So if
Mm,
you, it's all about figuring out who's got the best attention with what you're doing. And but it's working because people will come back and will tell me a few days later, oh my gosh, I read your entire guide, I learned so much, and they will thank me. And usually they're like, hey, are you available that day? And I'm not even into that call to action yet because it's after. So it's like, okay, there we go. It's going. So get them interested. Show them you know what you're talking about. But it's not about explaining what is off camera light or
exactly.
complete technical thing. They do not know. If they're not photographer, they're not gonna care. You're gonna bore them to death. Yes. So
You almost need to have a wedding planner mindset on
yes,
like that kind of value you're gonna
basically
give.
I think this is where I shine, and I recently did a video where I say how to wire your client with a safety pin. And
Hmm.
people are like, what are you talking about? The safety pin, safety pin. And I'm thinking about teaching a class about a safety pin at, a photographer class, because it's all about be more just a photographer, but be that rock where your client can rely into. And when I talk
Mm,
about safety pin, it's like, how many times did I've had to bustle a dress? Pretty much every time, and I have to use safety pin to redo their bustle because it doesn't feel right and they cannot dance. This is what it's all about. Take care of your client like they mean the world to you.
there we go.
It's gonna come eat in your hand. It's really like that. And it's not about, oh, sign with me, sign, please call me. You sound desperate. If you do not sound desperate, they're gonna feel you established, you solid, and you're gonna get more value. And ultimately, you're not gonna sound cheap neither. So they're not gonna be trying to get a deal or everything. They're gonna really pay for the money you ask for.
Exactly.
So that,
Kind of funny about the pin. I did have a wedding. I think it was last year where it, my I'm glad my wife was there working with me because the bridesmaid's dress broke, and my
yeah.
wife was able to fix the dress with the pin and everything. And it's so true. It's like you need to realize, before you go for that sell, build
Mhm.
trust first. Then you can follow up. Then you can get that consultation.
If they want you, they're gonna buy you. It doesn't matter. You don't even need to sell. You basically need them to sell themselves to you. Because
Exactly.
I told them I cannot take all the weddings that I receive. I can only do 35 weddings a year. And I have people, in your lead system when you talk about, so, they got to explain who they are, the vision, how they met. I have people literally writing me that much text. I'm kidding. I mean, it's a book. And I'm like, okay, this is someone who really wants, the thing. So also, when you declare the winners, you're gonna see a certain tier of people dropping. They're like, oh, I didn't win, so I don't care. And that's okay because
Yeah,
obviously they were just there for the free stuff.
exactly. They wouldn't have been your ideal client anyways. But focus
Exactly.
on
So,
who's there and who's still interested.
and there's still some people who still reading them and who's telling me they're just not ready yet. And sometimes I look at the date, oh, it's not until 2021, so I'm not worried about it. But it's like it's okay. I mean, I got four, I'm happy, and if I get two more in the next 6 months, great, even better. But four, I'm fine. I was telling you, if you spend $100, even you get one, it's still $100 per. It's still cheaper.
Exactly. That's an amazing acquisition. And so you also, I remember you sent me an email and you're getting really crazy conversions with your landing page. Nadege, she was getting about 8 to 15 leads a day, I remember.
Yeah.
They'd go on her ad and she had a landing page that converted really well. What are some tips you can give for students to make sure they have a landing page that converts really well?
But first of all, you gotta really think about putting really your best work on it. You kind of not overdoing, but like make them dream about it. So, but I have a nice banner with my logo, and you need to have your logo visible because it's your brand. So
Exactly.
I have a beautiful banner with my logo, but it's like a very romantic picture. And we talk about engagement sessions, so I only focus on engagement pictures. And I put a little bit of text, I put another picture, a little bit of text, another picture. So they're like, oh, that's pretty. And they keep, it's really like I want them to be, and then like, oh my gosh, she's really good. That's so pretty. Like, why not? Like I want at the end, like, hey, I'm taking a shot in the dark. And this is it, this is the idea right here. And you gotta get your website ready. Don't do it if your website is not ready for it. Don't do it if you're not setting up ready. I see so many people having terrible website and they wonder why they lose clients. The only thing I will say, like, when you do the broad show, you cannot ask them to explain how they met and everything. Just cut that off. That's fine. Just having their name and phone number, because you have that in the conversation. So it doesn't need to detail everything, how they met and
Exactly.
everything. So, but it works. I mean, so the capture lead is really name, phone number, email. Both are mandatory. I make them, they have to. And then they can do whatever they want. Some people will write 2 sentences. Some people are going to write me a book. Usually people will write me a lot. People will like into that relationship, into that thing. And usually that's telling me who's at the lead. So understanding who's reading, who's writing what, you're going to see some lead get called very fast, and it's okay. But you're going to see right off the bat, some people are going to stand out. And those are the one you want to give them the free engagement session, because at the end, they're going to go with you. So it works. And price yourself accordingly, too.
Exactly. And now you're also dealing with winners and non-winners when it comes to the 2 different lanes people are going in through your funnel. So tell us about your experience in converting some of the winners from the model call, and then how you were able to convert some of the non-winners from the model call as well.
So the non-winner right now, I don't have anything converted, but I can tell I have about 8 of them who are still reading my email. They still, I can tell, reading. I have a couple of them asking me questions because they just don't have the venue set. They're just not ready, but they were like, what should I do with that? Or, if we get married. So I have a couple of them was like, they travel. They were asking me about travel as I work. So right now I can't tell you, but here's the thing: I will not be surprised if I get 2 more, in my living room. Here's the thing: as soon as they get into my living room, they're done. I just know. I'm a closer, but that's the thing. I'm very confident.
Yes.
I'm a sales. I'm a closer. Me and my husband with Tim, when we sell, and we are guys. I mean, you guys are salespeople, but in a good way. So
exactly.
I know for people like introvert, they're gonna freak out and like, oh my gosh, and I know it's a monster, but here is the truth. Like, it's going to be very hard to maintain a very successful business if you do not get into sales, or if you do not hire someone who can do the sale for you.
That's very true.
And every massive, big studio, big name will tell you that's a pivoting point of the success. So they have someone. If they don't like it, they do have someone who are specifically hiring for doing the sales. But it's if you keep on hiding yourself behind the screen, it's gonna become an issue in the long run. And I think this is why we have so many business running out of business after a while, because they don't have that.
Exactly.
There's a reason why we're talking about in-person sales, and I think it's important. So
it's incredibly important. And a lot of photographers, even now, even after seeing the Art of Conversion module and stuff, like, they're still sending their prices on email. And I guess for those photographers who are maybe a little insecure when it comes to sales, or are really scared to get into even if it's on video chat or in person, what are some tips you can give to them as far as closing these deals, getting in-person meetings and all of that as well?
Well, my advice is, like, make sure when even if you do video, because I'm going to tell you, the biggest wedding I ever booked was in video chat, because she was in Texas. But she spent 10,000. So, and she was starting at 35, and you're like, how do you get to 10,000? But, it's like, when you have your screen, and make sure you have wall art behind you, make sure you have album that you can kind of flip in front of the video, and look good. I mean, look like right now, but I'm dressed, I have makeup on and everything, same thing, look professional. If they talk to you and they see like they don't know where you are and doesn't look right, they're gonna be like, who's that guy? So we had lights on, we have wall art behind us, we have album ready, we both look good. And what I did is I course, the price point come, and only then I send them the PDF file through the conversation with it was through Facebook. So I just hear my prices, and she was able to read it live, and she even didn't budge. She went with my bigger package. She was so impressed. So don't never ever ever start with the prices ever.
Yes, no.
Whoever starts with like that, you're gonna kill the mood like right away.
Yeah, you gotta bring up show your value first, you
Show
know?
everything you got, show your work, and also spend a time where you ask them questions. So tell me about your wedding vision. What's your color? What you got in mind? And every time they talk to you, like, and take note, like, okay. And sometimes if you think they're not sure about something, give them a little bit of advice or keep on redirecting them with questions. So show them you're attentive, you pay attention to them, and basically have them selling themselves to you.
Exactly. That's so true. That's so true. And for you students watching, when you get into the art of conversion, that's exactly what we're doing. We're asking them questions to first figure out what they want. What are their desires? Now that you know what their desires are, then you show them your work. You're connecting their desires to your work.
Yes.
And then you ask the right questions to basically get them to sell themselves to you. Conviction is everything.
Yes,
You got to remember you're the prize.
So sometimes I ask them, where did you get married? And they're going to say, I get married. So we're getting married at the mission. And I'm noting that. So I know I'm going to have to grab the album from the mission and stuff from the mission. And if I have a venue, or if it's not the same venue, but something similar, we're going to get married in a beautiful backyard, not backyard, gardens, and there are flowers everywhere. So I'm not going to show them from a picture of a wedding with nothing to do with that. I'm going to try to say, okay, I got to grab that book or that book. So the important part of the capture lead is like when you ask all these questions, understand the vision, like that you prepared for the consultation, you have staff that can relate to you.
Exactly.
And then when you show them picture, like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind. And when they see that, they don't want to go see something else because they're like,
exactly.
This is it. And they see the value not only in your work, but on yourself, how helpful you are. And sometimes I ask them, hey, are you going to go see another photographer? And they're like, yeah, but I think this is it. I feel bad for the other guy because I'm like, dude, oh my gosh. But then this is how it works. Like it's business, This is how you do it. So, but
awesome.
that lead to help them out, and also at the same time you understand who they are. It's a win-win for both sides, and this is why the conversion rate, I can't even speak anymore, works so great.
That's awesome, and that's great advice. And so, Nadege, what is one piece of advice that you have for the students who are currently in the program?
Do not rush it. For me, I literally blocked 3 weeks to only work on that. I didn't work on the album. I didn't work on it. I didn't work on anything else. I usually answer email. I was focused for 3 weeks on the program because there is a part when you say you got to write your content. If you have no content whatsoever, it's going to suddenly take you 2 extra weeks more than that. I had content, but I had to basically migrate everything, reread everything, update my picture. That took me a little bit of time to figure out how to separate everything. Do not rush it. There is no secret solution in marketing where it's going to take you 2 hours and you're going to get 100 of lead. I think people who advertise that, it's absolutely BS. The funnel marketing takes time to set up. Now, when it's set up, the second time you run it, it will take you 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
The first time take forever. But the second time, you don't have to worry about it because it's there and you just update your content as it goes, once a year or twice a year, kind of update it a little bit. Doesn't take long. But do not rush it. Take your time to write your content. Make sure everything is spelled right. It's spelled right. I had a couple of people try to read it. I'm not native in English, so I know my English is not quite perfect. I know people can understand me, but it's like sometimes the grammar. So make sure of that. Take the time. Don't rush it. Be focused on it. And I think, I have a friend of mine. It's funny because I was telling you about your program, and we kind of watch it together. But I'm gonna tell you, it's also discipline. I see a lot of typers failing because they don't discipline themselves to pull up the work. You gotta get up every morning and do your work.
It's so true. Exactly.
I mean,
And
it doesn't matter if you get up at noon. I'm a night owl. I will be up until 3 in the morning to do my work, and I sleep late, but I will put up my 8, 9, 10 hours of work when necessary. So discipline yourself. Put a schedule. Force yourself doing it because it's a long program. So my advice is like, don't give up. I know it looked like a monster, but the first time you're gonna run it, you're gonna be, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that sooner?
exactly. That's so true, and that's really great advice as well. Because what you always realize is it's actually easy to generate the leads, but once you generate leads, you don't want to half-ass your content because that is what's going to turn those leads into clients.
And this is, I think, where I see the difference. When you told me I have a very high rate of conversion because I add content. I've been teaching class. I've been helping my bride for years and years. I was only doing that for my clients. Now I decided, okay, I don't want to give them everything, but I'm like, okay, there is some basis if I can kind of give them for free. So I grab all that part of that content and put it into pre-clientele, and it's what a difference. Because people have been telling me, it's like, wow, your content is phenomenal. I mean,
That's
I have
awesome.
people sending me email like, wow, that was great advice. So if someone take the time to answer you back and say, both two last email were awesome, thank you for all the great advice, you're onto something, it's working.
That's perfect.
So,
Yeah, that's the proof of concept, and that's what the brides or grooms want to hear.
yes.
Perfect.
So, my advice is like, people say, "Oh, what should I write about?" So it cannot be. Don't get technical, but think about wedding locations, wedding engagement solicitation locations. Think about wardrobe. Think about tip for planning on the wedding day. Tell them about, for example, the 5 mistakes to avoid
Hmm.
on your wedding day.
Good. Good.
There's things like I was telling how people tends to face their back to their guests when they get married. Don't do that. Things like they don't think about timeline. I mean, think about everything you can tell them to allow them to get a better wedding day experience or better engagement session experience. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
too long. If you make it too long, you're gonna kind of lose them also. But it's always like you gotta think like YouTube, how to do that, or the 5 best tips for that. It's YouTube tell you exactly how to write your content for the video. It's exactly the same system,
Yeah.
exactly the same way. So 5 tip things, 7 best ID for that. I mean, it's you can write so many things about wedding. Make it yours. Also, do not copy word to word someone else's work
Yes.
because Google will see that and will take you down. So I know, Jordan, you put the content. I will say follow Jordan content as an example, but try
Make
to
it your
change
own.
anything around. It just as an inspiration. I use it as an inspiration, and I think after my first things, I was like, oh, I got the idea and do my own content. Don't try to be word for word because then Google's not gonna like that. It can see it and it's gonna
Exactly.
kind of scrub that with you. So don't. But you can see other to get inspired, but try to use your own word. So
Yeah.
that's also good advice.
That's perfect advice. And and you guys, and when it comes to your content, if you ever feel like you're running out of content, you can always break it down. Say if you're doing
Yeah,
timelines, timeline of preparations, then another article on timeline of ceremony, and you can break it down and then go more in depth
to
in
an
those little
episode.
pieces. Exactly. That's
Yeah, and you
awesome.
know what? In 3 days, I will send you the email about the timeline about your reception. Like things like that. Oh, okay. Stay tuned. So they stay
Yeah.
tuned, and they're like, oh, here the rest of it. Oh, here it's what I did with my engagement session. I had one
Exactly.
for location, 1 hour for wardrobe, 2 episode. That's 2 weeks. You.
Exactly. And that's how you get your seven touches in there.
Yeah,
Those seven touches so you can build that trust in you. They see you repeatedly. Great.
yeah.
And yeah, that's really awesome advice and everything. And where can we find you as well?
So yeah, if anybody they want to hit me up, so it's French Romance Photo on Instagram. It's also French Romance Photography on Facebook. My name is Nadege Barnes. It's on Facebook. You can message me privately. It's fine. And I mean, if anybody wanna, hey, how do you do it on 70 Hat? I mean, I'm glad to help out on 70 Hat because I know you're not talking about 70 Hat, and I know a lot of them have that. But it works the same. It's phenomenal because when you get so many legs, you cannot be on your computer trying to answer them individually all the time. It's gonna be time consuming. I would rather edit my pictures, work on album, and be on consultation with clients. So I think that system will automatically send those email and keep the neutral for yourself when you do something else. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much, Nadege. This is
you're
awesome
welcome.
advice and everything. I know it's going to help a lot of students as
You
well.
need to go teach in person.
I know. Get out of
Don't
this digital
make me
world.
have South in contact calling you and say, dude, I need you for Shadow Fest.
I know I do. That'd be awesome for sure.
You need, no, I mean, seriously, you need to teach that to some photographer because they don't understand it and nobody's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody, and I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of marketing classes in photography. Nobody get into detail the way you do it, and I think you should put your foot down, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
I'll think about it, definitely.
If not, I'm gonna do it for you.
Well, thank you, Nadege. That was awesome. Really appreciate it.
All right, Jordan, my pleasure. And if you need anything, you let me know, okay?
Sounds good.